Okay, welcome back once again. As I want to show you on how to cut your 1440-degree peplum without using horsehair braid or crinoline. So I have a video on how to get your princess dart. In case you have not seen, I'll drop the link down below. And I also have a video on how I was able to get my bodice like this. So what we are going to do first is to get our full waist measurement. So what we are going to do is to get our full waist measurement. So what I'm going to do, plus my zipper allowance, I'm going to take my waist measurement just like this. So what I have here is 42. So you can see what I have here, 42. That is what I have. So after getting your 42, what you are going to do, this is 42, what you are going to do is to divide your 42 divided by 4, because we are going to make 360-degree peplum into 4 places, which is our circle is going to cut in 4 places. So this is our 42 here. We're going to divide it by 4. Dividing my 42 divided by 4. So like this now is in 2. Like this now is in 2. So take one part and divide it again. Again into 4. So what I have here now is 10.5. So the circumference of our peplum is going to be 10.5. One part circumference 10.5 into 4 places. That is what I'm going to do now. So 10.5. Let me go ahead to calculate my full length. So my 10.5, let me write it down. 10.5. 10.5. 10.5. That is noted. So my full length for my blouse is 26. So this is 26, which I have here. 26 minus 17 for my half length. For the upper part, this what I have here now is 17 in total for my half length. So let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So what I have here now is 17 for my half length. I'm going to plus 1 inch for the sewing of our peplum, because at the down part we are going to join it with our lining, and at the upper part we are also going to join it to the upper bodice, which is this one. So I'm going to include 1 inch, making in total of my peplum length 10. So my peplum length is 10. Let me take note of that also. Length of the peplum is 10. So I have my fabric here. What I'm going to do now is to look for my measurements. So it is 10 like this. So you know how to, I hope you do, okay, I want to show you. So let me show you how to fold your peplum. So your fabric is open like this. Make sure you are working with your wrong side of your fabric. This is my wrong side. If you look, take a good look at what the spelling here, it is not correct. But if you take a look at the spelling like this, you see that it is correct. This correct side means this is the right side of the fabric. This side that is not correct, when you hold it, you can't pronounce what is written. That indicates that that is the wrong side of your fabric. Hope I made myself clear. So the wrong part of my fabric, I'm going to fold it like this. You can see what I have here now. Fold it in 2 like this, and fold it again into 4. So I have folded it into 4. So what I want to do now is to get my calculation for my waist here. I'm still going to arrange my peplum, but I also want to get everything, my calculation. So our waist measurement which we are working with is 10.5. So this is 10.5 divided by 4. 10.5. You can see what I have here now. 10.5 divided by 4. You're going to divide your tape into 4. So I have 10.5 divided by 2. Give me 5.2. This 5.2, I'm going to divide it again. That is making it into 4. So I have 2.1. So this is my 2.1 now. I'm going to locate 2.1 just like this. Take note, I have not gotten my listing, but I just want to make this easier for you to understand. So take note of this. Make sure you have your 2.1 at this point here. So I have my 2.6, 2.6, right? 2.6, 2.6, sorry, 2.6, because it was 5.2 divided by 2 give me 2.6. So 2.6, that's what I'm going to locate here. You can see what I did. Just like this. So from this end to this end is 2.6. So what I'm going to do now is to mark here like this. So from this point now, I'm going to connect it curve like this. What I have here is 2.6. Now what I have here is 1.1. I'm going to connect it like this in circular shape. 1.1. So I have my 1.1 all through like this. So let me see what I have here. I have my 2.6 at the dot. 2.6, just make your tape like this and get your 2.6. After marking your 2.6, what you have here, you are going to connect it like this with your tape round to get this shape. After you getting your shape like this, it will fall at your 2.6. So we have our 2.6 here, then plus our peplum length, which is 10. Our peplum length is 9 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 10. So this is our 10 from these 2 points. From this 1.1 which we have here, plus the 10. In total of my peplum is going to be 10.5, 11.5. In total, it's going to be 11.5. So I just showed you on how to get your peplum. So we can now go ahead to rearrange. So what we are looking for now is 10.5. 10.5. So this is the time. It is now that the peplum measurement is coming now. So we need 10.5, 11.5, sorry. 11.5. 11.5. That is what I have here now. 11.5, which I have here. You can see into 11.5 and fold again and get it the same 11.5. Get the same 11.5. So I have it just like this. So what I'm going to do after getting my 11.5, I'll use the same formula which I used again. You know, it was 1.1, so there's no need to cross check again. So 1.1, I'm going to calculate my 1.1 around this part like this. 1.1. 1.1. 1.1 around here. What I have is 2.1. So I have my 1.1 in a circular form just like this. 1.1 in a circular form just like this. So what I have in total is 2.1. So this is for our peplum, one part of our peplum. So 10 inch for our peplum, length of our peplum, 10. So in total of this, what I have here now is 11.2. 11.2 or 11.1, because the length, what I have from here to here is 1.1. 1.1, that's what I have here, plus 10, making it 11.1, plus 10, making it 11.1. So your 11.1, I'm going to get my 11.1 round just like this. 11.1. Make sure you pay close attention to your calculation. If it is possible, don't discuss with anybody when doing this, so you don't make a mistake and later regret losing that your fabric. So what I'm marking now is 11.1. 11.1 all around. That's what I have here now. 11.1. From here, from this end here, from this end here to here, I have 1.1. From this end here to this here, 1.1 plus 10, I have 11.1. So that's what I was able to get all around here. So I'm going to connect it like this. I was able to connect it like this. So what I'm going to do now is to cut out my peplum. Cut out. I want to make this easier for you. Cut out my peplum. Just like this. So after you have done that, what you are going to do now is to fold the peplum again to cross-check if everything is accurate. Place your peplum like this to see. So if you look closely now, I was supposed to calculate it like this, but it will get you confused. So I want to make it easier for you to understand. So after folding like this now, you will see that there are some excesses at one part of it. Make sure this your upper part is equal when doing this. So there are some little excesses at this part. So I am going to blend it by cutting off those excesses at this other part, like this, to make it equal with the plain fabric. So you turn over to this side, you will still see a little bit coming out from this other part. So we have our peplum out. You can see what we have here. We have one part of our circle out. So what did I tell you? I tell you that one part of my peplum will give me 10.5. So what do I have here? I'm supposed to have 5.2 here. So it is okay by this. 10.5, I'm going to have 5.2 here. So this one is okay. Perfectly okay. Because this tape is not going like this, so it's okay like this. That is what I have here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one now to cut another extra tray of this. So let me go ahead to do it. This will not be enough. So just follow the calculation which I just showed you. Follow your calculation like that to get your circle, to get your peplum. So I'm going ahead to iron this one. So I will use this to cut out 3 equal parts. So I don't want to waste much of your time. Let me go ahead to cut them out since you already know how to get this. Okay, so I have gone ahead to cut 4 different circles, which is 360 into 4, making it 1440. So I have 2 here and I have 2 here, making it 4. So this style that I want to make will have 2 steps, but the other one will start from halfway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make 720 for this other part. 720, what I mean by 720 means that I'm going to have 2 circles for one part of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to use the same way I was able to get this measurement to get, but my second step will be lesser by 2.5 inch. It will be lesser by 2.5 inch from this one. So let me go ahead to cut it, then show you. I'm going to cut 2 pieces for that. So this is my second, which I told you it will be 2 peplum, which is 2 flay, and this will be lesser by 2.5 inch. So this is lesser by 2.5 inches. As you can see, it's lesser by 2.5 inch. This separate two. So what I'm going to do now is to cut my lining exactly the same shape as my flay. So what I'm going to do now is to iron my lining. Then I'm going to put my flay on it and cut out. I'm going to iron it very straight, then put it just like this. Make sure you don't consume your material. Make sure you manage it to the minimum amount. So what I'm going to do now is to iron my lining. Then I'm going to place it just like that and cut equal shape. So let me go ahead to do that. So I have all my 4 parts of my peplum. You can see my fabric was not enough. So I use this to complete it. Make sure yours is enough. If it is not enough, you can do this. I'm not telling you to do as mine. Make sure everything is enough to contain your fabric. So I have 4 different flares, just like this. My lining in my fabric was cut equally, and for the upper layer, which I told you I have 2 steps, I have one part with a satin cut on fold, because the style of peplum which I want to make, I need this. And this other side, I have two same fabric. I'm going to use this for lining and one for the sewing, because there's a way I'm going to do it. So I will show you on how to do that, don't worry. So what I'm going to do now is to gum my main fabric. So this is my gum which I'm going to use. Some people call it peplum gum, but this is the normal stay which you know. But this one is stronger. The paper stay, you know, this is the stronger part, the stronger shade or stronger type of paper stay. This one is very strong. So that is what I want to use for my peplum now. So what I'm going to do for my peplum, I'm going to gum my main fabric just like this. My main fabric, that's what I'm going to gum for my peplum. I'm going to leave the lining just like that, but if you want yours stronger than mine, you can go ahead to double it, but it will affect you when sewing because it will be too thick, unless you have a heavy duty machine that will be able to climb it. So what I'm going to do now is to gum it. So you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do, I will go ahead to do just like this for each and every part of my fabric for the upper block. Then I'll come back to show you on what to do next. So I have gone ahead to gum all 4 of these, the main fabric, and for the smaller flay, you can see I gum one part the satin and one part of fabric. Is the way I'm going to sew it. So let's go straight. I'm going to show you everything. So let's go straight. So what you are going to do next is to fold your fabric like this. Fold it like this. Then split it in 2. So go ahead to split it like this. So you can see what I have here. I'm going to do the same for the rest 3. And for your lining also, you're going to follow the line. It's better you iron so you can get your line to follow. Go ahead to split it just like this. So let me go ahead to cut the rest part without wasting much of your time. Okay, so I have cut everything open for all the 4 parts. So what you are going to do now is to place it like this. You can see this is 2 flares which I have here. I'm going to place it like this. Then sew from your down. Make sure you backstitch when sewing. Sew up to the end here. Then at this other part, you're still going to extend it by putting this one again. And sew from the end. This is how we are going to sew all your peplum together. Then do the same thing for your lining. So let me go ahead to do that and come back to you. Okay, so I have joined my peplum and I went ahead to iron it. You can see what I have here. Went ahead to iron it flat. Make sure you iron it very well. And I went ahead to also sew the lining, and I ironed it as well. That's what I did I also did for the lining. Then over to this smaller part. As I told you, this smaller part, after sewing, you can see I gummed one side of my fabric and I did not gum the other. So I just want to brief you on how it will look like after sewing. So it will go like this. One side the gum stay and one side plain. So after sewing, this is how it will be. This is how it will be after sewing. Because I'm going to turn this out like this. My peplum to be like this on the blouse. So let me just try to stitch it. So put your wrong side facing wrong side. Went ahead to iron it after sewing it. I went ahead to iron it the same way I did for the other part. So for this smaller part, you are going to sew it. Just sew it if you want to do something like this. So what I'm going to do now is to sew it round. I'm not going to top stitch this one because of my turning. I don't want my threads to show outside. But this other part, I'm going to turn it. Since we are not using crinoline, you can go ahead to sew on the right side. If you want me to show you on how to fix your crinoline, just comment down below for me to know, so I'll be able to give you a different video on that. So what you are going to sew now, you're going to sew your 1/2 inch just like this. Place it like this, then sew it all through. So let me go ahead to do that. So I have gone ahead to sew it, so you can see how it looks very nice. Everything is set and ready. So what we are going to do now is to iron. I told you for this part I'm not going to top stitch, so you can see how it looks. There is no thread sewn here, but for this side, which is the down part, the bigger layer, you can see that I top stitch on the lining, not on the fabric, on your lining. And let me show you what the top stitching means in case you don't know. So you can see how my fabric now is facing towards my lining part. Then I sew and I run a stitch on it. You can see it is facing towards my lining part, and I run a stitch on it all the way down to this end. So you can see. So anyhow, you know how to top stitch. Some people, they do sew from this side. It is still okay, but make sure when sewing you are stretching your fabric so it does not go in. Me, I prefer doing it like this, but anyhow you want to do it, you can still do it, but make sure it is smooth. This part, there is nothing coming out like this when sewing. There is no excess like this when sewing. So that is being said. So for this one, I did not top stitch it. I only went ahead to sew. Let me show you inside for you to understand. So you can see there is nothing, there is no top stitching. It is just like this. I just went ahead to sew it down. I did not top stitch here. You can see how it looks just like this. So because I don't want threads to show, because of the side I told you I want to create for this peplum is going to come like this. It's going to sit like this. So I don't want my thread to show outside. That was why I did not top stitch. So you can see. So what you are going to do now is to go ahead to iron it, iron everywhere straight. And when ironing this part, make sure your sewing sits in the middle. It does not come like this. It will be wrong, or it goes in like this. Make sure you are ironing it to be like this. You will see your line at the middle like this. You see your line at the middle like this. Make sure that is how you make sure you arrange your fabric when sewing, so it does not come out like this. If it comes out like this, it is wrong. Make sure it is sitting exactly like this. The both parties are equal when ironing. So you will see your sewing thread at the center of this. So this aside. So for this other part, what you are going to do now, when ironing this, make sure you bring in your fabric like this. You will see a little bit of your main fabric on this side. A little, just a little bit of your fabric. You can see just a little bit, not much, not like this, not like this. Like this is very wrong. A little bit, just a little like this. You can see how it looks, just a little. That is how we are going to make sure it appears all through. When ironing, make sure you are placing it to make sure it appears like that all through. So I will go ahead to iron it like this, then I'll come back to show you what I got after it. So I have gone ahead to iron it as I told you. You can see how this looks like. You can see I went ahead to iron it for the small part. So sometimes it does not come out equal. So as you can see now, one side is longer. So what you are going to do if you have any issues with it is just to cut it exactly as the other one. Don't leave it like that. Cut it like this to complete the other one. So what you are going to do for this now, you are going to fold this inside, and because I did not top stitch this, you are going to fold it like this and sew it down for the both side, so that here will close, here will not look rough like this. So for this other part which I top stitch, what you are going to do, you are going to fold like this. I'm not going to fold this equal as that because I top stitch this part. Here is being top stitch. So what you are going to do now, okay, look at me here. Hope you can see what I'm doing. What you are going to do is to fold this in. This your wrong partner. You're going to fold this in like this and and sew down. Sew down with your lining, sew it close, and do the same for the other part. So let me go ahead to do that. I have gone ahead to close the side as I told you, so it is now looking neat and nice. So after closing this part, what you are going to do now is to run a stitch around it and make sure your stitch is meeting your lining. They are equal when sewing. Make sure it is equal and don't push your lining out. Make sure you are running on it freely, so this one does not pull it like this. Don't do that. Just make sure after ironing you will see that it will be in place, so just go ahead to run straight. Then after that you can decide to trim any little excesses that is out of it. So go ahead to do the same thing on this one. So we are done for the peplum, so I will go ahead to put it on for you to see how it looks. Go ahead to sew it on. Okay, let me show you how to sew it. So I am doing this for somebody that might be seeing this for the first time on how to join your peplum. So this is how you go ahead to do. You can see this is the right side of my fabric, and my peplum also. I'm going to place the right side, so you can see the right side. I'm going to place it like this and sew 1/2 inch down to the other end. Before you do that, make sure you run a stitch to close this to the end. Make sure you run a stitch to close this down part so it does not come out or create any distractions. So go ahead to run your stitch like this, and after it you see. So this is the one. Since I am dealing with 2-step, I'm going to put this one first before putting the bigger one, so this one can be able to appear outside. So let me do that for you to see.